Hey, it's SR Mori here from Mistwood Publishing, and today I'm going to be reviewing Batman 86 because it's kind of like not a new beginning for Batman, but you're getting a different writer on it, and a writer that I think is far superior to his predecessor. I did read a good chunk of Tom King's run on Batman, but I got like 30-ish issues in, and then I kind of gave up whenever I found out that it was going to be like 100 issues long. 100 issues for one story with a writer that likes to write Batman like he's this incompetent weakling who cries all the time, or pouts all the time. It just, no, that's a lot of money for a crappy, not that good of a storyline. It's not crappy necessarily, but I just didn't. It wasn't worth my money, so I wasn't following it. But I have been following Justice League Dark, which is what this writer, James Tynion, I believe you pronounce his name, the fourth, was writing Justice League Dark, and it's absolutely amazing. You should definitely pick that up. It's my favorite run that's going on right now. And so he's now doing that and Batman. He's taking over for Tom King. He's starting with issue 86. Thank goodness, Tom King's run ended, like 15 issues short, but that was 85 is still a long time. I have to say, this issue is absolutely amazing. It's drawn by Tony S. Daniel, who I think is one of the best comic book artists of right now. I mean, look at that Batman. I mean, that is absolutely amazing. That's so good. The rain, and it's raining throughout like this whole issue. And it starts out, it gets your attention. Now, something that you should know from the Tom King run that I've picked on just from reading this issue is that Alfred is dead, Commissioner Gordon is now the mayor, and Detective Bullock is now the commissioner. So there's a little bit of difference. And I kind of like it. I mean, I don't like that Alfred's dead, but you'll see like later on in the issue that it really, like, this guy, he's doing a good job with it. It's not very often you get emotion in a comic book, like real emotion. They're usually very shallow. And that's not the case here. They do a good job. They really do. This is definitely a buy. I can't emphasize enough how good this is. So it's got good artwork. Something else that I really like, and some people don't like this, is I think that Batman and Catwoman together is actually really awesome. They end up getting married in the golden age of comics, so I feel like, and they end up together in a lot of iterations, so I think it's good, and it's not abnormal. I think it's part of how things are supposed to kind of go. So in this issue, Catwoman and Batman are working together. Batman's taking on some villains, while Catwoman is taking on the real threat and getting information from this database of sorts. And they flash back with Lucius and things like that. Lucius creating this new, it's a vehicle of sorts. You kind of see it in the Justice League movie. It's kind of the same thing. It's like this spider thing. So Lucius is talking to Batman while Batman hunts down Slade and, the little minions. And so Batman and Slade and his minions are fighting. And part of what I really like, what I look for in a Batman, is that he's a detective, he can fight, that he's emotionally compelling, and that he uses gadgets, right? That his gadgets are unique and that they are creative and awesome. And so he has these little balls that follow Deathstroke's henchmen, right? Cheshire and these other three weirdos, projecting his shadow to make it look like they're fighting him while he deals with Deathstroke. And I think that that's really, really awesome. Meanwhile, Catwoman doing her thing, and this guy comes up to her, and he's kind of like, you get the impression he's being controlled by the real villain, and his face starts to melt off. And to me, he's like talking about this plan, like, Bruce has this plan for Gotham, but so did we. And, Catwoman realizes, this is oh, that person, you know, like the writer said in an interview that this is like a villain that had a plan for Gotham years ago, and he was integrating all the different villains in Batman's rogues gallery, and they kind of like pushed him away for being too extreme. So when this guy's starting to talk to Catwoman, she kind of recognizes who it is. And I really like this because I feel like I haven't had this in a comic book since the Scott Snyder run in Batman, and just like this mysterious like villain that from the very beginning he just captures your attention, because I mean, he takes over this guy and then the guy's face like melts off, right? So like that just immediately captures your attention, like, okay, I want to see what this villain has planned. He's obviously very dark and very mysterious, and so my interest is piqued. I personally kind of liked the Mr. Bloom part of the Scott Snyder run because he was a new villain and he looked cool and he was mysterious and you didn't really know what was going on with it. And I kind of get that same feel. It's kind of this bloody, gritty villain that you don't know about, and he's got like this plan. My interest is very piqued. So this comic has really everything that you need in a Batman comic. You have the fighting, you have the gadgets, you have the villain who is compelling and interesting, and it's a mystery, so Batman's going to have to use detective work to do it. And then you have the final component, and that is the emotion, right? At the very end, Batman asks Alfred to clean up, you know, the mess of his fight and all of that, and well, Alfred's not there, and so Lucius kind of has to like contact him, like, sorry, Alfred's not here, and you just kind of have this moment of Batman in the rain. It's very, like, you can just kind of see the emotion. And I remember when I first read this, it was kind of just like, whoa. Because Alfred really is the closest thing, the thing that I think Batman loves the most. And to lose that, I think to explore that impact, and the way that they do it, like the wording in it, I'm not telling you the wording on purpose. I want you to get this. I don't want to tell you. And there's a few things I'm leaving out because I want you to go buy this. This is a good issue. It's just they capture the emotion very well in a very Batman way. He's not like weakened by it. He's still strong. He's still Batman. And I just think that this issue is really good. I don't think I've read a Batman comic book this good since Scott Snyder. And, you know, say what you will about the New 52, but Scott Snyder, his run on Batman is what got me into comic books. And so for me to say that this is like that, it's as good as that, is a very high compliment. You know, you read The Court of Owls, you read any of the storylines with the Joker. You know, the only part that was kind of weak was when Gordon was Batman. I felt that was kind of weak. But then in the last volume, he kind of get it back, you know, Batman's back and everything. It's all so good. And even like Graveyard Shift and everything, I just think that it was a really good Batman. You had Greg Capullo on the art. It was just very gritty and very good. And I haven't felt that kind of like excitement for a Batman comic book in a long time. Since I started with Scott Snyder, I kind of just assumed that the Batman writer was always going to be really good. So that's why I was like stuck with the Tom King one as long as I did, even though I wasn't super enjoying it because I just was kind of like holding out for it. And kind of the same thing with I really liked the Justice League comic books with Geoff Johns in the New 52. Those are really the two lines that got me into comic books after Marvel kind of burned me. I'll talk about that sometime. But so for me to say that it's on par with those, I think is a very high compliment. You definitely should get this comic book and read it. Now, please like this video, subscribe if you haven't. There will be more Batman content, there will be more comic book content, there will be more of lots of other types of content. So please stick around, subscribe, like, and have a wonderful day.